Hello, my name's Jennifer Berridge. I would like to give you a 15-minute restorative yoga session that you can do at home for your well-being, your relaxation, or maybe just a little time out in the middle of the day. I'd like to just show you a few props that you can purchase if you haven't got them, or you might want to just instigate some props at home. One is a bolster, that is a handmade bolster that you can get, or you can buy them online, or you can buy them here at the Karma Studio. And then there's a tightly woven blanket, not a soft mohair blanket, but a tightly woven blanket that you're going to pop on your bolster for our first pose. And then for a couple of other poses that I will give you, you have 2 blocks, which are called yoga blocks. And again, you can purchase them here or online. So the first pose I'd like to show you today would be to lie back on the bolster and bring your buttocks right up behind the bolster. And then bring your legs out in what we call Baddha or butterfly in yoga. And place the bricks or blocks, we call them bricks or blocks, underneath your legs, and lie down on the bolster, making sure the blanket is just under your head. If you're tall, you can also place another pillow up here at the end of the bolster. And just lying all the way down into these props. Allow the bricks, make sure that they're comfortable underneath your legs. A different spot might be the thighs, or it might be just under the knees, but making sure that you can let the legs go. Making sure the head is lifted, place it back down so the head's not flying back. Bring the chin to the chest and just relax. And coming into this pose, you can lie here for a good 3 or 4 minutes, depending on how much time you have. And just focus on the breath. Feel the breath moving in and out of the body. It helps to stay focused. You can say, I am breathing in. I am breathing out. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. And every exhalation, just let the body settle and soften a little more into the props, the bolster, the blankets, the blocks. Staying with the breath. 3 or 4 minutes, whatever you can touch. After you've been here for 3 or 4 minutes, depending on what time that you've got, just gently and slowly bring the knees together. You might like to just sway those legs a little bit to the side and carefully roll all the way over onto your side, coming up off the props and coming back into the sitting position. The next pose I'd like to show you is called cat-cow. So your knees are directly under your hips. Your hands are directly under your shoulders, and open the fingers as wide as you can without being uncomfortable, so that you're pressing down into the base of the knuckles. And as you inhale, you're looking up, just letting the chest drop softly to the floor. And exhale, taking the chest to the ceiling. Open the shoulder blades and tuck the chin into the chest. Inhale, looking up, chest to the floor. Exhale, chest to the ceiling, open the shoulder blades. Keeping the legs and the arms as still as you possibly can. Maybe just do 4 or 5 cat-cows, whatever feels comfortable, moving very slowly and gently with the breath. No rushings, take your time, the breath working with the spine. Inhaling, curling up, looking up. Exhale, curling. Chest opening, chin tucking. One more. Or as many as you feel you'd like to do to release any tension in the spine. Coming into a neutral position, and then we'll move straight into the next pose, which is bringing the big toes together. Take the knees out slightly. If you have any knee issues at all, then bring the knees in together. If there's any pain, never do the pose. Always adjust to take the pain away. So if there's the knees feel comfortable in this, coming all the way back to the heels and getting your bolster. Placing the bolster in front of you here. Keep the tailbone tucked under and try and just broaden the chest. Take an inhale and then exhale. We're just going to wind our torso down onto the bolster. Place both hands either side of the bolster and completely release. Turn your head to one side, and you might like to count your breaths just to keep you focused on your breath. Maybe 10 to 20 breaths on one side. Just keep letting the tailbone come back to the heels. Try not to let the tailbone come up. Just keep it sinking down into those heels, tops of the feet. Gently pressing into the mat. Let the shoulders just curve around the bolster. So 10 to 20 breaths, however long that you've got, with the head on one side. And then just gently turn the head to the other side for 10 to 20 breaths on this side. Nice big breath. Feeling the bolster underneath you, feeling the ribs just settling deeper into the bolster with every breath. Inhale, taking in fresh life force. Exhale, releasing all you no longer need. And when you've done your 10 to 20 breaths, the head being on each side, and just gently and slowly make your way back up into that position. And there is another pose that I'd like to show you. It's called traditional child pose. So you don't have to use the bolster. You can just come all the way down, curling up like a little child does, and letting the head rest on the floor. And just let the arms rest here. Now, if the head doesn't touch the floor, you can use one of your blocks and let it rest on the block. Or you can use your fists, one fist on top of the other, and let the forehead rest. Or you can just use a blanket just to soften the forehead, depending on what feels right for you. And again, you can stay in this pose for anything from 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how much. There's another restorative pose I'd like to show you. It's called supported bridge. So for this one, we need a block or 2. So you'll need to test out whether you need 1 or 2. So coming all the way down onto your back this time, and bring your feet hip width apart. Just let the body settle. Making sure your feet are hip width apart, not all the way out here to the edge of the mat. They need to be hip width apart just to keep those hips safe. And then we're going to pressing into the feet. Inhale, coming up, taking one of those bricks underneath the sacrum and placing the sacrum directly on the brick. Now, if it feels comfortable, and you'd like to give it a go, you can use 2 bricks. Try and use the flat side of the brick. It's more comfortable for the sacrum, especially when we're doing restorative poses. So if it's comfortable to have 2 bricks, place 2. If you find when you get up here it's too much, then come back to 1 brick. And then lastly, once you've got the lower part of the body settled, bring the arms into what we call a cactus position or right angle. So the elbow is level with the shoulder and the shoulder is level with the elbow. Elbow is also level with the wrist. And let the backs of the hands just settle into the mat. If you have any shoulder issues, you may need to support the shoulder with a blanket or the bolster, depending on any issues that you might have in your shoulders. And again, just turn the head gently, just making sure that there's space around the neck. Shoulder blades, walk them towards each other and just allow the body to settle into the position. Sacrum spreading into the bricks, shoulders settling into your mat, wrists settling into the mat and the carpet. Close your eyes and breathing in and breathing out. And in this one, you can, if you'd like to keep your focus, you can breathe in from the tailbone all the way up the front of the body to the crown of the head. And exhale from the crown of the head all the way down the back of the body back to the tailbone. Inhale from the tailbone up the front of the body to the crown of the head. And exhale from the crown of the head all the way down to the tailbone again. Like circle breathing around the spine. Just gentle, slow breaths. This particular restorative pose is very good for quietening the mind because the lower body is higher than the upper body. If you don't, it doesn't feel right to do the circle breathing, then just listen to the breaths moving in and out as you keep settling the body onto the blocks. And again, 3 or 5 minutes, depending on how much time you've got. You can stay in this pose for as long as you've got. And then when you're ready to come out, inhale, exhale, bringing those arms all the way back down. You can let the arms just rest here for a couple of breaths if you like. To come out, press your feet into the mat. Inhale, lift off the blocks and gently and slowly slide them out. Peel that spine all the way down back onto the mat and bring your knees up over the chest and give your knees a hug. You might like to just gently draw some circles with your knees and back the other way, giving that sacrum and lumbar area on your back a little massage. And then lastly, you can just do a few twists. You can bring the arms out level with the shoulders, just inhale, back to the center, exhale to the side. Just again, just feeling your way. Going as far as you feel comfortable. Head opposite to the legs because you need a twist. Just a couple, just to release that back. As many as you feel comfortable, but keep the lower belly drawn in when you do a twist. And then lastly, taking the legs back down to the floor, bringing the arms beside you and coming into what we call Savasana. Corpse pose, to fully integrate, to rest, to bring your little restorative session together. close your eyes. You can place an eye pillow on, you can place your socks back on your feet, or you can place a blanket over top of you. Or another option is placing a blanket under the head, just for a bit of support, and then rolling that bolster underneath your knees. And placing a cover on you if you're a little cold. And just sit. Walk the shoulder blades towards one another, making sure that the chest is open. Arms are alongside your hips, about 45 degrees. Let the legs be a little more than hip width apart and let them drop down into the bolster. Or if that doesn't feel right, just let the legs rest on the mat. And lastly, just bringing the head up, placing it back with the blanket and keeping the chin aiming for the chest. And taking 3 big breaths. Inhaling and sighing out. Maybe 3 or 4 nice long breaths. Releasing all you no longer need. Let it go. And just coming into a resting place. Just let the body breathe itself out. Let the legs fall away from the hips, feet fall away from the ankles, let the shoulders fall away from the torso and the arms fall away from the shoulders. Release the back of the neck, under the skull. And just let the eyeballs sink into the skull. The whole body rests. Still, quiet, resting. And just observe the body breathing itself. Breath comes in, breath goes out. Breath comes in, breath goes out. Rest. Integrate. And then to come out of the pose, you might like to bend your knees and gently and slowly just rolling all the way over onto one side of the body. Just taking a couple of breaths here. And gently using your hand to press you back up into a sitting position. And you've completed your short restorative yoga session. Notice how you feel, always reflecting after you've done your practice for a few moments, a few seconds. Namaste.